We're about to head into April, and that means new VR games. So today I'm going to be talking to you about all the VR games that we have coming up next month. Now, it's pretty chock-a-block, I'm not going to lie. But let me know in the comments down below which of these you're looking forward to. And of course, as always, help support this channel, smash the bloody like button. I would really appreciate it. Without further ado though, let's dive straight into what we have coming up next month. And that first game we're going to talk about is Sea Smash. This is a very cool, retro-y, arcadey type feeling game where you're going to get in and play kind of like a tennis racquetball type of situation, with it of course being in virtual reality and of course having just a different vibe to what you'd expect. This is also co-op as well, so you can play with full body avatars, playing around with each other, using emotes and having a blast inside of this. Now there's a ton of different modes in this which is going to keep you entertained. If you haven't played this, it's actually one of those kind of sleeper games which you don't expect you would like, but actually when you play it you kind of really fall in love with it. So keep your eyes out for Sea Smash. Black Trail VR. Well, this is a wave shooter at heart, I guess, but it is set in the cowboy old westerny times where you're going to be taking on your foes and well murking them off, let's be honest, because that's what you do in a wave shooter. But this one does have quite a few fun twists in it. I've actually played an early demo of this, I think last year, and it was quite good fun. So getting in this, it's got some weird and wacky turns that will take you just out of what you expect to see in this. I'm talking like interdimensional craziness, but hey, play the game, then you'll find out a little bit more. But nonetheless, this is a pretty interesting little game, so check it out. Coming out to you on PCVR. Toy Monsters. We're getting a new MR game dropping next month, and that is this. I'm pretty excited about this one. It looks kind of basic, but at the same time, I think it's going to be quite fun. You set up all of your toys against one side, and of course, they're going to be fighting the other side. Kind of a tower defense-esque sort of feeling to this, but definitely fun, and it looks interesting as hell. Just being in mixed reality always kind of catches my interest just a little bit, so I just want to see what this one's like. I don't know a busting amount about it other than what I've said here, so we'll leave it there, and I will definitely fill you in more, of course, in my weekly videos once I get a chance to play this for myself. Big Shots. Well, this is a mech shooter. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this one. I like me a mech shooter, as it's always a good fun to get in there, and you can get in there with some friends as well and go buck wild. Now this does feel kind of wave shooter-esque. I mean, it feels like that might be the theme, by the way, as we run through these games this month. Wave shooter ahoy. But nonetheless, this does look quite interesting. I like the style of this entire game, and it looks kind of fun just to be able to jump into a mech and destroy stuff. Let's be honest, as long as the mechanics are good in this is going to be good fun. Next up we have Mixture making its way to the PSVR2. This is a platformer very similar to something like Moss, if you're familiar with that game, where you're going to go in as a platformer and you're going to help out your little character buddy Moth. This is a very cool game. I've played it through on a Quest before, and honestly, pretty damn cool. I'm glad it's making its way to the PSVR2. I'm not sure if it has any special enhancements for the PSVR2. Probably not, with the way things have been going on that platform, but nonetheless, it's a very cool one, and if you own a PSVR2, I feel like this is a very chill game that you can be picking up and playing. Next up is Soul Convenient. This is, probably said that wrong, this is looking like an interesting game. If you're into sort of like your anime and your sort of Japanesey sort of type games, then I think you're gonna probably enjoy this one. It looks like a very fast-paced action game, and well, I think you're going to sort of like see what you get on a tin here. This reminds me of those sort of old school games we used to get on like Dreamcast and stuff, where it was just about slash, get as many kills as you can and rack up your points as you go whilst looking like an absolute badass. And that's pretty much the vibe I get from this trailer and from what I've read on this game. So again, I haven't played this one, but I'm kind of interested just to see what this is going to be like. It looks like an absolute mind melt of a game. So I guess we'll find out more as we roll into the month. Next up is Strike Rush. This is very much your Overwatch, but in VR. Now this has been attempted a few times over the history of VR for sure, and well, this one isn't a free-to-play game either, it's a paid game, which unfortunately for most multiplayers is not normally a good sign, but nonetheless I'm kind of intrigued to see if this one's going to hold its own. I think it comes in at a price of just under £17, which I guess is what, like $15, something like that. So yeah, I just don't know. Whenever I see a game like this, I expect to see free to play attached to it because it normally does a bit better. But hey, we're not here for opinions. I'm here to tell you about what this game is, and it is essentially what it says on the tin. You're going to get in there, you're going to battle royale between you and a few other people. You're going to have some characters with some dope ass abilities, and of course, giving you that Overwatchy feel. Again, a little worried about this one, but we'll see what happens. I don't even know where to begin to say this next word. I mean, like, my brain just farts out of my ear when I try and say it, but ARing Generation? Moving on, it's literally written there, so hey, you can all correct me phonetically please in the comments down below. This is a very stylistic game where the idea is that you're going to be going in there and essentially taking photography. This is going to teach you all about photography, like lenses and depths of fields and how to do amazing effects, I guess. I don't really know. But yeah, this is a game all about photography, getting in there and taking a bunch of pictures, graffiti, traveling around a city, hanging out with some friends and taking a bunch of cool pictures. This looks like a very interesting concept. It's very, very stylistic in its design choices. But yeah, I mean, damn, if this is your bag, I think you're going to enjoy it. I just don't know if this is for me or not, but I really am intrigued to at least try it and figure that out. Strayed VR. This is actually one I'm really looking forward to. For any of you Rust fans out there, this is Rust in VR. So I'm pretty damn excited for this. Some of you may or may not know, a while back, and I'm talking years and years ago at this point, I actually used to run Rust on this channel. So I have like 9 seasons of me playing Rust right here on this channel because I used to absolutely adore that game. And now the fact that we're going to have this in virtual reality is very, very exciting to me. This might be the game that locks me into virtual reality for many an evening while I build a base, destroy some people, and of course get an entire crew together. If you would like to maybe join me in that crew, maybe let me know in the comments down below, because I feel like we could possibly make like an absolutely bitching clan of the kings and go and destroy everyone in the server. This is going to be a very cool representation of Rust in virtual reality. They've essentially taken everything that makes that game good and smashed it into a virtual reality product. So again, very excited for this one. I think this is going to be sort of like my game of the month, but we shall see. Obviously you need to get in there and try it first, because if those servers aren't stable, that would suck. But from what I've heard, this game is actually quite incredible. So fingers crossed. Next up is ANARCHITECTS. This is actually a pretty interesting game. I got to try this out while I was over at GDC, and yeah, this is quite impressive. This is going to be a game coming to you from the developers of No More Rainbows, and this is a very different spin on mechanics and game entirely for them. So the way this is going to work is you go in, you spawn into a world, and you literally have a billion different objects that you can spawn into it, making out anything you want inside of that. It could be you recreating an entire other game, kind of like a Rec Room-esque sort of feeling to it, but I think a very cleaner design to it. And the way that it works is really simplistic. Like, you can just spawn objects in, you can deal with how the world's gonna react to those things, like zero gravity, whether you want to have high gravity on, whether you want to do floor as lava. The options are completely endless. This is the creative mind's dream of a game, and I think this is going to be one of those ones that's really gonna pop off. Also, from my understanding, this is going to be a free-to-play game as well, with only aesthetics costing you money if you want to buy different parts to go inside of the game. This is really going to be an interesting one. I think has a good chance to pop off and be up there with like your Gorilla Tag type games. So fingers crossed for them, as I think this one has a lot of potential. If you're into that kind of thing, I think you're going to absolutely love this game. Metropolis II. Well, the first one of this was very freaking incredible. I actually really love this game. This is a story-driven narrative experience that is set in a very artistic, fun way. This is the second of that and a new installment and a brand new story. This looks really damn cool. If you like just going into sort of a very noir experience where you're going to get to experience a very cool story from a first-person perspective and actually get to live the story whilst it's being told to you, then you are going to love this. This first game was amazing. If you've never played it, I highly recommend you go and check it out. It's got some really fun VR mechanics in it, as well as just some great storytelling to boot. So high recommend from me. I cannot wait for the second part to this. This is something I'm going to play in my personal time for sure. So check this one out if you're looking for a storytelling game. And last but not least, we have ourselves the Nope Challenge. This is a game genuinely I am really looking forward to. I think it's going to be a banger of a game coming out this month, and I've already had the chance to try it out myself. Again, at GDC, I managed to try this game for myself, and yeah, it gets kind of terrifying, but in the best kind of way. This game isn't just about jump scares and making you poop your pants, although those things kind of do happen occasionally. It's more about the suspense of fear and building up on those suspenses, making you feel those inner fears. But you always have the option inside of this to nope the hell out. Yes, that's right, you have a note button on your right hand that you can just tap, tap, tap 3 times and escape back to a relaxing scenario where you can catch your breath, and of course, if you want to, dive straight back into where you left off within the scary, terrifying challenge. There's a few different experiences within this game, and I do think this is going to stand out as it's the kind of horror game that is kind of a bit for everyone. Rather than it like saying relying on just cheap jump scares and things, it really relies on playing off of actual phobias, and sometimes even multiple phobias in a single instance, which can be quite intense. There was a few screeches let out from me on the show floor whilst trying this. And that's going to do it for our lineup of games. Guys and girls, of course, as always, we are bound to have some surprise hitters jump out from nowhere across this month, but that is where my weekly roundup videos kick in. So make sure you come and check out those, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because then you get to stay up to date with all the good gaming news that you need to know. And of course, some reviews as well, letting you know whether you should buy these games or not, and I'll tell you about that across the entire month for each and every one of these titles that we have coming out. Now, I will say this is a bit of a strange month when it comes to gaming, and I like to give a little synopsis at the end of these sometimes. For me, it feels like we're in that territory of like 2016 games coming back out again. There's quite a few wave shooters in this month, which can either be bad or good, but depends how much they cost, quite frankly. But yeah, that's not me trying to put a drag on this, it's just me being kind of honest with you. It's not the best lineup of games, but we definitely have a few hard hitters within this lineup, and I'm telling you, I know of a few things that are potentially coming out this month that if they do drop, it could be a very good April. But again, you never know, which is why I can't say it in here because I'm under embargo, and also we don't want to ruin the surprise of certain things. Anyway, take care. I will catch you in the next video. If you enjoyed this, smash like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.